And whoa, that wasn't supposed to happen. What's up guys, Broken Famous here for Vintage Kicks Gallery, and today we have another restoration. We're going to restore these beat to 1994 Jordan 1 Breds. That's right, the first retro. The amazing quality, these are extremely good quality. If you haven't seen the video yet, we unboxed these in our Overnight from Japan episode. These were purchased in Japan for about $100, so let's see if we can add some value today. First thing we're gonna do is get rid of one of these shoes and put in an adjustable shoe tree. Now, for those of you that don't know, the shoe tree helps restore the shape and remove creasing as you clean these things. So now we're gonna take out the laces. Whew, that wasn't easy. Now, as usual, we're gonna throw these in the cleaning solution and see if we can bring some of that color back. And today we're gonna be using primarily Angelus products, and we'll have a link below if you wanna know what we use and if you wanna purchase it. Purchasing it through that Angelus link does support the channel, so please do. All right, so we're gonna use a regular bristle brush, a soft bristle brush, and a stiff one. And I am going to begin with the absolute upper on these. So I like to work from the top down because, as you know, the soles are generally the dirtiest. If you work from the bottom up, your water is going to be dirty by the time you get to the top. So I'm going to start with the tongue. 94 tongues are a little bit more resilient than the 85, so you don't have to be too careful with these. We're using a good high quality cleaner, so we don't have to worry about taking the color out of the tag. But we basically just want to get rid of any type of upper soiling. Now these are absolutely trash, so I'm going to give the inside an extensive cleaning as well using OxiClean. But right now we're just going to get the major stuff off. And we're going to continue to use that soft bristle brush for all of the interior. Okay, now it's time to move to our medium bristle brush, and we're going to start with the upper leather. Now this is Angel's Easy Cleaner, so it has some oils in it to hydrate the leather. But after we're done, we're gonna give it a good leather conditioning. Just gonna clean this like any other shoe. You wanna be very thorough, go back to the water often, but I like to start from the very top, do one side at a time, panel by panel, and make sure you miss nowhere. When cleaning Jordan 1s, it's always good to really get in the creases. And what I mean by that is where the panels overlap, because that is where a lot of dirt hides, especially around the check here. So you always want to make sure to really get that. So as you can see, these are badly creased. We are definitely going to have to use some steam to restore the shape to these. And that'll be a good time for me to show you guys how to do that. All right, now that we've got the leather pretty well scrubbed, we're going to move on to these soles. And these are likely going to need a magic eraser for the outside. We are going to whiten them, but we want to take care of all the surface scuffs in the first pass. So the bottoms of these are actually really clean, but the sides are bad. So we're going to use our stiff bristle brush and really just get in there and scrub away. All right, now that we've got the majority of the stuff off the soles, let's wipe it down and assess where we're at. As you can see, we still have some scuffs on the sole here that we need a magic eraser for, so let's get the magic eraser and put a little scrubbing in it. Magic erasers are a great way to get rid of stubborn sole scuffs. So basically you just wet them down, and you can purchase these anywhere. I got a whole big pack off Amazon for $7. And we're going to not rub on the leather because this will take the shine off the leather, but we're gonna really scrub away at these soles, and you'll notice this thing starts to come apart as we go. That's okay, you're gonna go through a lot of them. All right, that got the majority of the scuffing off. Let's go ahead and wipe that off and look at the results. What do you think? Much better already, but we have a lot of this stubborn creasing here, and these are deep creases. Now we're going to be doing a couple things to reduce these creases in here. We're going to give it 2 steamings, one while it's wet, one once it's dry. That'll be a light one. And then we're going to move on to Angelus shoe stretch and a heat gun to do the final removal. So we'll show you guys that's 3 steps. I know it's a lot, but this is a really beat up pair. So the reason I use a hand steamer over a iron is it's just a little bit safer because you can go direct to the leather. And I've had better results all the way around. If they're really stubborn, you still have to use an iron, but this gets the vast majority of them. All right, these are pretty bad, so I'm gonna go ahead and pull the shoe tree out and stuff the front of these. We're gonna put that back in to let it dry, but stuffing these is going to help get some of these really deep ones out, hopefully. Be careful with the steamer because it can burn you pretty easily. All right, that took out a lot of them. Move this back, and as you can see, we still have it stuffed, but a lot of the deep ones are drastically reduced. All right, now it's time to let these things dry. Now you can just put them outside if you want. You can put them over a register vent in your house, or you can get a shoe dryer off Amazon. I'll link you below. Those really help because they heat the shoe as well, and that does help restore the shape. All right, guys, they're dry. What do you think? Pretty big difference so far. Now we're going to tape off the uppers because we're going to dye the check with some Angelus suede and nubuck dye. All right, let's tape it. All right, that was easy. Now it's time to mix up a little Angelus red with some neutral suede and nubuck dye. So what this is going to do is recoat the Durabuck check and make it a little bit more consistent. It's not going to match the red of the other parts of the shoe, but it's not supposed to. So we're okay with that. We don't need to get too technical when mixing it up. We just need to reduce the red just a little bit so it isn't too vibrant. We're not doing this here, by the way. And we're back. Remember when working with red dye that only fools don't wear gloves? And I am one of those fools. All right, let's remove this. I already used a heat gun to cure it. So once we pull this tape off, we should be ready to go on to our next step. All right, now we're going to assess this thing for its need for paint. I believe this only needs paint on the black. The red is actually pretty good and came back with the cleaning and will really come back once we condition the leather. But there are a few spots that I do want to touch up on the black. I don't want to completely repaint it. I don't even want to prep the area too much outside the rubbing alcohol that I did, because if you use acetone on a 94, you really have to repaint the whole thing. They have a interesting sheen to them from the factory. I don't know if it was a coating that they put on there or if it's a special way they treated the leather, but whatever it is, it adds a really unique sheen to the black and the red of the leather. And if you use acetone on any part of that, it removes it and you have to end up redoing the whole thing. So we are going to use a little bit of flat black on this. Only in a couple areas that you see here. I don't want to go crazy with this, but let's go ahead and see. We have one little area here and then a couple here, and everything else we're going to leave the same until we condition it. When painting black and you're painting older ones, the best practice that I found is to wet the brush and then take almost all the paint off. And I'm talking to the point that this thing wouldn't leave much of a mark if you stroke it across the table. The reason being is we want to really apply thin coats to the raw area of this and not really expose any parts that are painted as it is. So I'm going to go ahead and just continue to remove paint here. And I'm basically just dabbing this area. Now that we have the areas dabbed, we're going to blend this out just a little bit. And basically you just want to feather the brush in the area and spread the paint out just a little bit. And you can't really see it on camera here, but I have barely anything on here. It is essentially a dry brush at this point. We're gonna go ahead and just continue to feather this out. The goal is when we're finished here is to not be able to tell we touched it. So we're gonna continue to feather this with the dry brush. And the paint is about 90% dry, I would bet at this point. We're just gonna continue on, switch up the strokes so you don't see anything. Even if you didn't though, there's so little on here, it's not gonna do anything. Now it's time to whiten these soles. And as you know, I don't like to go all the way back to white, so we're gonna go somewhere like a sail color. I'm gonna do this with the tried and true Salon Care 40 and my indoor light box. To whiten using Salon Care 40, all you do is brush a nice thin coat on. And with leather shoes, it is never a good idea to get it on the uppers, but if you do, it's not going to be the end of the world like it would be on a canvas or a cloth shoe. A nice, thin, even coat. Once that's applied, we're going to cover it with plastic wrap. I'm sure you've seen this done before. All right, I'm gonna go throw these in the light box for about 20 minutes on each side. All right, guys, we're back, and unfortunately we lost a little footage, but all you missed was me applying an acrylic finisher to the areas that we touched up. Now it's time for a very important step. When restoring any vintage leather sneaker, you must condition the leather when you're finished. We'll have a conditioner for sale soon, and that'll be available in our web store, and it'll be specifically formulated for these vintage shoes. What we're trying to formulate is a compound that doesn't leave a residue like so many of the ones on the market do today. So right now, hang tight guys, but we'll have that up shortly. So basically with the conditioner, we're gonna use a microfiber cloth and just apply liberally. What you're gonna wanna do here is apply this evenly all over the surface till you get a nice shine on there. And once you have that even and the shine is consistent, then we're going to buff it off and redo it again. When applying around the toe box perforations, make sure that you don't apply too much or it gets stuck in there and then it dries. And if it dries white or anything, you're gonna see that and it doesn't look good. Be extra cautious around the folds too and the stitching area. You don't wanna get it to build up too much there. All right, now that we have a liberal coat on, we're gonna just buff it off, and we're gonna lightly buff it off because we want some to stay on. And you're gonna notice that a little bit of the sheen is gonna stay. That's okay, that will fade a little bit as you wear them, but that's a good indication of when you need to condition again, is when you start to lose that luster. If you're restoring a 94, don't be afraid to leave a little bit of the sheen on there. 94s are generally a little bit glossy at this point. If it's a modern day retro or a 85, definitely don't leave too much of a sheen. You want to kind of buff it as dull as possible. All right, guys, it looks like a single coat is all we needed on these. So we're going to go ahead and let these sit for a little bit and come back and reassess them. And if they're ready to go, we'll put the laces on and show you before and after. All right, if you stuck around this long, go ahead and smash that subscribe button, please, please, please. All right, last thing we're gonna do is remove this fuzziness off the laces, and to do that, just use a traditional lighter. And whoa! That wasn't supposed to happen. All right, guys, that's a wrap on these 1994 Bred Jordan 1s from Japan. What do you think? For 100 and, what was it, 140? Not looking too bad. Went for a pretty natural look here, an aged look. We could have redone the red. We could have sanded down the swoosh and done a little bit of that, but I think we hit it just right. So what should we do with them now? They're a little too small to fit me, so should they remain in the collection? Should we give them away? Should we sell them on eBay? Let us know. All right, thanks.